Good afternoon. It is time. It is time. We have been waiting for this moment, and now it is time to talk to me because it is Tuesday. We're just getting a couple of things set up because this is like the first time that we've done this with our special guest. So bear with me just a moment. We're going to get this information up here. I am so excited about today. It is time to talk to me Tuesday, and I have my special guest, the one, the only, the master, the best person I know, Dr. Cassandra Scott, the money doctor. So she's going to tell you guys a little bit about herself, and what to expect next. I'm super excited.
Hi there, I'm Dr. Cassandra Scott, and I actually worked at Credit One for a while, and as a result, I went and got my financial social work certification. One of the reasons is because we saw so many people coming in the door because they wanted to improve their credit, but as a social worker, I realized that behind that, there were a whole lot of other issues that brought them in there. And that, Millie, that is really because credit can affect every aspect of your life. Money affects everything. So it can cause you stress, it can cause you anxiety, fear, homelessness. You can be divorced because of it. It can be the cause of domestic violence. Absolutely. It can be. It's actually one of the three most stressful conversations in a marriage is communication, the areas of stress, communication, sex, and money. And so more divorces are caused because of money issues, but it also is the number one cause of suicide. So we don't look at money in the same way. We don't actually make the direct correlation between my credit. We make it between my credit and my money, but not all the other stressors that can go on. Health problems, high blood pressure, all kind of problems can happen because as a result of your relationship with money, of a poor relationship with money. So we want to talk about that today. This is the beginning of a series. And so I'm encouraging everybody to go with us on this journey. It is a process. I suggest that you take out a pencil and paper. I'm going to give you some homework afterwards. And even now you can start writing down your questions and start evaluating your relationship with money. You ready?
I am. Let me give them a few reminders really quickly. So guys, if you are just now joining us, this is the one and only money doctor, Dr. Cassandra Scott. She is a certified financial social worker who also has her doctorate degree. So when she says she's a money doctor, she actually is a money doctor. We are honored to have her here with us. She's going to give us a little bit of information and an introduction into this series of healing your relationship with money. We're going to go over some brief things. One of the things she's promised us is on every month when she does this with us, she has promised to make sure that she gives us some tools that we can take with us. So I am very, very, very excited to be a part of this and to learn. I know y'all see me writing already because we have been talking behind the scenes and she's giving me a lot of information. If you have questions, comments, concerns about this or credit-related topics, you know the drill. Put your message in the comments and we'll try to, because this is a little different, we'll try to answer them as they appear so that we can stay on top of it and make sure we're answering your questions. Again, welcome. And I'm going to turn it back over to the money doctor because I'm a credit specialist, but she got me beat with that whole PhD thing. I'm going to have to work on this.
Okay, great, Millie. So let me start with the journey.
Okay.
We're going to go back as far as we possibly can because I want to ask you, when did you get introduced to money? Can you remember the first time that you actually learned about money, that money existed? I'm going to ask you a little bit about that relationship. Once you try to think of the age you were when you first understood that there was such a thing as money.
Me?
Yeah.
my dad started giving me money for my report cards.
Okay, so you were already in school.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was probably school age. I mean, was that when he gave me his credit card? Yeah, he gave me his credit card later.
Okay. Okay.
I've been spoiled all my life.
Sounds like daddy problems. I understand.
No.
Okay,
It wasn't a problem at all.
Not
I
from
encourage
her perspective,
men
of course.
to give their daughters your credit card and tell them to go shopping.
Okay,
and to give me your credit card and tell me to go shopping. I highly encourage that.
so let me tell you about how some people get introduced to money.
Okay.
Usually it's at a young age. Maybe let's say around 4 or 5 years old, you start thinking or you start hearing about money or you start seeing money. And maybe you're shopping with your parents or something like that. And some kind of way you establish a relationship. So for a lot of people, that relationship is more like a Santa Claus relationship. Comes once every year and it's big and you get a lot of money and it's so wonderful and everything, but then you kind of don't see it again for another year. That's a Santa Claus relationship with your money. Sometimes it's like a sort of girlfriend, boyfriend, but it's more like the cute girl next door or the cute guy next door. You get a peek at them every once in a while. And every once in a while they peek at you and they'll give you a wink or so and you're like, ooh, they like me. And that's how you see your money. Every once in a while you'll see your money. You think it's good, but you don't really, it's not there long enough for you to really get to know it or anything like that. So it's one of those little kind of sneaky relationships.
I remember somebody like that.
Yeah, and sometimes your relationship with money is actually very healthy. You've been introduced to it. You understand that it's something you have to earn. It comes on a regular basis, maybe like an allowance, but you get to stay there and enjoy it and spend time with it. Like maybe a parent or a sister or brother that is there with you every day. You have expectations of the money. The money has expectations of you. And so you guys get along and you have a really healthy relationship. For many Black people.
Excuse me.
Yes.
People have that from the beginning?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, there are people who have that
wasn't
relationship from the very beginning.
That
Very
wasn't
few. And sometimes that's a cycle. So you'll cycle where you're having a good relationship, you're getting an allowance and everything, then something happens and the allowance stops and that relationship is like a divorce and that can be very painful, but you never really heal from it. Another relationship that most Black kids, their first introduction to money is they're going to get money, but it's to go in the collection plate. So they're going to get their first quarters, nickels, dimes, pennies, change, but it's to put in Sunday school. When they get their first dollar,
that was me.
Yeah.
That was me.
And when they get their first dollars, it's to put in the church.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that does for us, or I should say to us, is it establishes a relationship so many Black people really see money as earmarked for the church. And so that's one of the reasons why we are one of the most faithful group of supporters to the church. Not saying that's a bad thing, but it can't be the only thing, and it definitely can't be our most important relationship. So this is the homework that you have. I want you each to go and think about your first introduction to money. Maybe the first 4 or 5 years that you were either given money, you saw money, or sometimes money is also like magic to people. It only appears when the tooth fairy comes and gives you money, or it only appears on holidays. And that's the only relationship or time that you've ever seen it. For some other young people, money was something that your parents or grandparents gave to you to take to the store and buy something for them. And as soon as you came home, you had to count that change out and give it back to them. So you learned that other people can have money and you are a conduit. You pass it through your hands, but it's not yours to control. And that when you bring it back, it's still not yours to control. It still belongs to somebody else. I want you to understand that all of these relationships that you've established with money early on in your life, follow you as a pattern through your life, just like any other relationship. And with most people, they've never even thought about, do I have a relationship with money? They never even thought I'm supposed to have a relationship with money. But I guarantee you that if you sit down and think about it right now, you have a relationship with money. You need to determine what that relationship is, whether it's a reciprocity relationship where you give and get, or whether it's a one-sided relationship, and every one-sided relationship is doomed to fail. You're never going to stay into a one-sided relationship. If you work and work and work and your employer doesn't pay you, you're leaving.
That's true.
If your employer continues to pay you and you're not working, you're going to get fired.
That's
One-sided
absolutely
relationships just don't work. And that's what we've had for decades in the Black community. Now, part of it is because we don't stop to teach our children or to pass on good, healthy relationship tips when it comes to working with money in our families.
But we pass on what we know. We just don't know. Like,
we don't
I'll
think
be honest.
about it usually.
Okay,
Yeah.
So if you guys don't know,
Right.
the money doctor also happens to be Dr. Mommy to me. So
Yes.
because she is Dr. Mommy to me, I may, say money doctor, Dr. Mommy. By the way, she got her PhD and makes us call her doctor, even for mommy.
And
Either
Dr.
Dr. Mommy
Granny.
or Dr. Granny. So
Gotta do that.
be clear, this is where the brats get it from.
I earned it.
She did earn it, and I am very proud of her for it. However, that being said, not to, of course, do this, but because we're going through this relationship.
Yes, let's talk about it.
So you taught me, you were the one who gave me money to give to church.
Exactly.
And clearly it wasn't because you wanted me to have a bad relationship.
Right.
However, in sitting here and listening to you, I'm thinking about my children, and the very first thing that I did was give them money for church.
Absolutely.
So I can see where that happens. And even now, when they have their own jobs, I make them take out, hey, Keela, thanks for joining. But I make them take out 10% for tithes.
Right.
Of the money that they work for. Now I make them save 50%, which is a little different.
Right.
But I make them take out for, now I've become a little liberal with them. They can give it to any charity of their choosing. However, I still make them take out 10% for charitable donation, be it tithes,
That's
be
a good
it
thing.
something like that, because I want them, because I understand more of money. However, guys, and I'm just going to be transparent with y'all like I always am, I'm going through this learning about the relationship with money. I know the money habits and the successful tools and tips because I've been educated on that and the effect that it has. However, the emotional connection to it is definitely something that's hard for me to admit to, because I do know I am an emotional spender.
Exactly.
I'm also an emotional eater, so it kind of works hand in hand.
Exactly.
My emotions run me. But I'm getting better at that. So I do things like with emotional eating, I've learned, hey, I have this. So I balance that with intermittent fasting and stuff to make sure that I don't overeat and, die. Emotional spending, however, I am learning that this is a much bigger issue, and while I know how to recover from it because I can pay my bills and, redo my budget so that I can recover quickly from it, I have still had moments where I've spent way too much. I remember a couple years ago, I had a free check. The check that you have when you get paid bi-weekly and you get that third check a month, or you get paid weekly and you get that fifth check, or taxes, or whatever. And you could have paid off some stuff and put yourself in a better position, but instead you bought your kid a PlayStation. I bought a PlayStation, games, outfits, just blew it on stuff that you really didn't need and didn't have budgeted for that. So here we are. And so if I know if I can do it.
Absolutely. And that's what leads us back into a cycle. And so that's what I really want you to get in touch with today. I want you to understand that there is a cycle of behavior that you've established because of what you think about money. because what you think money's role is in your life, how often you interact with money, just like you are having a relationship with a person. I want you to think about your relationship with money. Is it fair? Is it balanced? Is it good? Is it consistent? Can you depend on it? If you have any issues with money, the same way you would dump a person that is not doing you bad, you have to dump your habits if you're not getting out of that relationship what you really need. So let's keep on staying on this journey, because I really want you to understand all of the emotional ties that you created. We did this. And whether it's our parents doing it, as I did with you, and I want you, let me just explore that a little bit about money going into church. There's nothing wrong with that. We should support all of the charities and the things that we believe in. We're going to have to be, when you have your seed, you sow some in the ground so that you can eat, so that you can give away, and so that you can save. That's a part of it. Mm-hmm. But what I'm talking about is if your only relationship with money was passed through, I'm passing it through to the church. I don't get to keep anything. I don't have any choice in this matter. The only time I'm going to get money is on Sunday morning and Wednesday night or whatever days your church meets. And I'm giving it to you and you put it in. And then when you come home, how many times have I actually stopped and said, did you put your money in the collection plate or do you keep it? And so that beginning introduction, and a lot of children...
Oh, I don't have to answer that?
No. Okay. Because I'm going to answer it for you. A lot of children will just steal their church money. They just do.
Okay, hold on.
But let me tell you what it
Can
does.
we not call it stealing the church money? Because
the reason
all I hear is Malachi, will a man rob?
Exactly. And what happens is, that is our first relationship. I remember the time I took my nickel to Tom's store and spent it. I think I put maybe 8 cents in the offering, but I kept that nickel and I went and spent it. And it haunted me because it wasn't my money. And so that, as a beginning relationship, whether you took the change after your grandmother sent you to the store or whatever, or you found money around the house and it didn't belong to you, and so you immediately said, oh, I'm stealing.
Hold on.
That whole beginning of a pattern.
Can we discuss some of these things live?
Yeah. So wait.
Just really quickly, this whole find money, you can't find. First of all,
depends on where
this
you
is probably the worst.
But finding it in
Question
people's
ever.
purses and finding it on their dresser or in their banks or in their
But you got like
sock drawer.
16. You can't have 5 money things on your dresser and then say to your 6-year-old child, you can't find money in here. Well, I just found it. It's like hide and seek. You were trying to hide it from me. I suck it out. And so I was successful with it.
And so if that is your first introduction with money, that I have to find it, that I have to steal it, that it doesn't belong to me, that I have to take it from somebody else, imagine how your relationship is going to grow. It's like cheating, getting a husband, having your first relationship with somebody else's husband. And you continue that relationship all the time. You're always sneaking. You're always peeling off money. And you don't really feel safe spending money, using it, getting it. So your introduction to a relationship with money is perverted from the beginning. We have to go back and examine these relationships so that we can heal them.
I apologize for finding money in your room.
Pay me back with interest.
Wait. I thought we were healing.
Well, that's a part of your healing process.
Hold on.
I just want you to know.
But I apologize.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's great. I think that's really great. But you see how guilty you feel? See?
How you just gonna call me out? Like,
I just want you guys to know this. Don't think that because you started out with a bad relationship and now you're grown that those feelings don't still exist, because they do. You can't, if you were traumatically injured when you were a child, you don't just get over that because you get chronologically older. Those things continue to fester, continue to impact your relationship, and they can do great damage. If you feel that you have to steal money. And I'm saying from a child's viewpoint, you're taking money that doesn't belong to you. You're looking and seeking out ways that you can get money, whether it's in your classroom, you're taking lunch money, whether you're bullying to get it, it doesn't matter. If that's the first introduction with money that you have, don't think that when you turn 21, you're all of a sudden going to have a healthy relationship with money. You won't. You'll still be looking for ways to get rich quick. I don't care whether you're playing the lottery. I don't care whether you're doing scratch-offs. I don't care how you're doing it. Gambling, doing all different kinds of things. You're going to try to get rich quick as opposed to having a good, steady, honest relationship with money. And so I want you to take time, think about it. Think about your early years with money. How were you introduced to it? Did you have a piggy bank that you were not allowed to touch other than to put money into it? Because sometimes one of the issues with money is hoarding. That people either didn't have anything, so now when they get it, they just hold on to it so tight that they don't know how to spend it or when to spend it. They might miss out on opportunities because they're hoarding, because they didn't have, or because they were taught, keep money, keep it, just get it and keep it. Don't give it to anybody, don't loan it, don't buy things, just hold on to it. That hoarding attitude comes from your relationship with money and your understanding about the purpose of money in your life. But once you have healed this relationship, and we're going to go through some steps over the next few months on how you can heal this relationship, begin to improve this relationship, and then you're going to start seeing some of the benefits of having a good relationship with money in your home, money as a partner with you to do the things that you need money to do.
Okay. I like it. Guys, she's been talking to me about this. I'm sorry, y'all. My light just went out. Give me a minute. Anyway, she has been talking to me about this as she went through this journey. And so I was excited when I heard about it, and I knew I was gonna have her go through it with me. So I figured, if I like it, then she would too, and y'all would too. So I invited you guys to go on this with me. If you have questions, please feel free to post them. We will respond as always, as we do with our 750 score challenge. Akila, we looking over all of them posts she said about pay me back. I'm positive, in my expert opinion, as I think back over that, I probably only found, not stole, found in her room,
creatively found,
on her dresser or in her purse, I may have only found like $20 or so. So, mommy,
interest from that long ago, I'm gonna be rich, people.
Listen, and because the money doctor loves me so much, she has decided to use interest as if this was a student loan with deferments and all of that. So right now I have a balance of $56.17, which I will probably be paying her back after I defer this a little bit longer. So
how sweet.
This is definitely a subsidized loan.
I love it.
By the way, I think it's a Parent Plus loan and your name might be on it.
I co-signed that one.
You definitely co-signed that loan.
One of the other ways that
That's why y'all should co-sign and see what happens.
Is sometimes people from an early age realize that they have to create money. So they might be picking up bottles in the neighborhood and taking them back in, or cutting lawns, or doing different things to try to
free
create
newspapers.
money. Selling free newspapers.
Martha.
Doing all different kind of creative things to say, because they have got in their head, I need to have money in my life, I just don't know how to get it on a consistent basis. But they're starting to establish some good habits, and that is that I must do something to attract money and to keep money in my life. After that, then they just have to learn how to use it so that it is productive for them. Mm-hmm. But all of these different small habits that we start and small relationships that we start when we're young are things that influence us the rest of our lives. Those of you who have young children, I encourage you to start paying them an allowance. for work that they do, so that they get into the habit of understanding money comes from work. The more I work, the more money I get. Another good one, and this is one of the things that Millie's dad did, is he paid them for good grades on their report card. That translates into
$5 for every
good
A,
work.
$3 for B's, nothing for C's. D's will get you beat as well as someone
Well, we're going to leave the
don't
beat
do that
part
part.
alone. But translating money for good grades is the same thing for an adult. We go to work, we get paid. They go to school, they do well, they get paid. That is a good incentive, and it helps kids to understand the better I do, the more I get paid. Once they start getting that principle in their mind, and then we'll talk about how they manage that money, but once they get the principle that money comes with good hard work, that is the greatest seed that you can plant inside of a child. And that's what their expectation will be. They'll look for good jobs, they'll do well in school. It's a good motivator. It motivated us, and so it'll motivate them as well.
It definitely motivated me.
Absolutely.
But that's because that was the only time I was getting money, other than when I found it.
That was your job.
By the way,
That's the job.
See.
So paying them for an allowance for doing work around the house as early as you possibly can. And it doesn't have to be a lot of money, because at a young age, children they're not thinking about the amount of money. That's why you can give them a $1 bill or a $5 bill and take it back and give them 3 ones, and they think they have more money, because it's the
y'all see what she did to us?
quantity.
See what she did to us?
Quality, it's
I
the
just want
quantity.
y'all to see. This is the same.
That's
Listen.
why change works with
See
little
that?
kids,
See
because
that?
they think they can hear it. They got a lot of it. The issue is not how much money you're giving them, but they understand that they're getting paid for doing a job. As they get older, obviously, you're gonna have to actually negotiate how much of these things worth, and that's another skill that you want to teach them.
Yeah, and I just want to interject real clearly. She's now on to the given allowance part, because we're all grown and she has grandchildren, and she just wants her grandchildren to get money. So, guys, keep
That's
in
what
mind.
grandparents do.
See that? Go get a doctorate degree to tell me, no, you should be giving your children money. Like who?
Well, you don't want strangers to give them money. You don't.
Well, what else are scholarships other than strangers giving them money?
Well, that's after they're older. But while they're young, you want to be the one that is the source of their money, so that you can influence them. You know how much they're getting, you know how they're spending it, and you're teaching them about a relationship with money, the same way you would teach them about a relationship with their friends or relationship with their parents. You teach them what that relationship should be and what it should look like when they're being disrespected and when they're being respected, when they're being disrespectful and when they're being respectful.
Right.
So all of those things are the same things that you're going to be teaching them about money. And we're going to go through this journey, because I guarantee you, more than likely, you learned about being disrespectful to money or having a good relationship with money, but nobody actually sat you down and taught you. It's what you caught, or
Right.
what you felt, or what you
Studied.
experienced.
Or,
And
in my case, studied.
but you studied it later.
Yeah,
I'm saying at a
absolutely.
young age, it's just, you hear people in the room fussing about money, or you hear people saying, pay me back my money, or you answering the phone and it's a bill collector and you're giving it to your parents. Whatever those relationships
they're not
are,
home.
they're starting to establish things in your head. And so you're starting to think about what is the role of money, and what does the role of money play in our family, and specifically to me. So I looked around when I was the 4th oldest in a family of 12. Money was not there except for lunch money on the table to take and eat at school. If you wanted to forego a meal, then you had some money. But other than that, it just wasn't there. We didn't get allowances on a regular basis. Sometimes we get allowances like it maybe for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then that would end. And so money was not regular with me. When I actually was an adult with adult children, before I actually started learning how to handle and have a relationship with money. And believe it or not, even before Maurice started Credit One USA, he was the first person that came and sat down with me and talked to me about my relationship with money. I just didn't know. I literally was one of those people that if I got money and I owed a bill, I'm paying it. If it meant I would be broke and hungry, the bills got paid. Doesn't make any kind of sense now, but at the time, that was all I knew. Pay bills. That's what my dad did, and that's all I knew about money. So now I am learning, once I started looking at all the other emotional, psychological, stressful, mental health problems that people endure because they don't have a good relationship with money, I committed myself to go back and learn, and now I'm sharing these principles with you.
Okay, so we got a really good question. It says, what's the best way to break the cycle of the more money I have and the more successful I am and start a new healthy relationship with money? Ooh, that's a good one.
It is a very good one. So part of being able to fix it in the future is knowing what caused it. And so you've got to identify some of the triggers in your life. That's what we're going to be doing on this journey. We're going to be talking about, the first one is starting, how did this relationship get started? And then we're going to start going into what have you reinforced with money. And then we're going to get into how do you start breaking some of these patterns, because you've got to be able to identify where you went wrong in the journey so you can go back to that point, not physically, but you can mentally go back to that point and take a different path, a path that you design that is going to be good for you. So let's
jump in real quick.
Yes.
Okay, guys, I know that my viewers have changed a lot, and this is a little different than our normal Talk to Me Tuesday, but it is absolutely critical. So if you are just now joining us for the 750 Score Challenge, Talk to Me Tuesday, I am here with the money doctor, Dr. Cassandra Scott, and we are going on a journey. This is a new series that we're going to bring you the first Tuesday of every month, healing your relationship with money. Cassandra is, I got to call her Cassandra, guys. I'm sorry. This is also my real mom. This is Dr. Mommy, guys, that I talk about all the time. So she has her doctorate in social work, and she also has she is a certified financial social worker. So she is able to do the therapeutic connection with finances. So, when we talk about the total credit solution that we offer, this is a big part of it, because no matter how much you fix your credit report, if you don't change your behaviors, you're still going to eventually find yourself back here. So I know that I've been through most of this from a financial side. Now we're tackling it from the emotional side, because bringing those two together, I make good financial decisions because I sit down and say, no, this is what I'm supposed to do. It doesn't change how I feel about it. So now we're working with Dr. Scott to, it kills me. She makes me call her all of this, the money doctor. We're working with her to make that emotional connection, because sometimes I pay bills and I'm super excited. Ooh, I paid all my bills. And she was just talking about that she used to pay all of her bills no matter what. So when I pay my bills, I've learned that behavior because I've seen it being modeled since I was a child. I've also seen people who didn't pay bills being modeled since I was a child. And so I've seen the dichotomy of both, and what I chose to do is the one that made me feel good. The problem though is, am I paying the right bills, or am I just paying bills because it makes me feel good? So when she talks about getting back to the basis of it, it is because knowing why I'm doing this makes me make better choices. Because when we talk in credit repair and we talk about how to pay off your debt, people want to pay off stuff because it makes them feel good. It's no longer there. I don't have to deal with this, or whatever your answer is, but it may not always be in your best financial interest. So it's really important that the two become connected, so you're making good financial decisions as well as good emotional decisions.
So think of it this way. How many times have you seen somebody date a person, maybe even marry a person, and that's a terrible choice? They divorce, then they start dating somebody that was just like that other person.
No, I've
you
never
can
seen
see
that.
it, but they can't see it. And that's the cycle that goes in. A lot of times you can see other people's bad habits, but you can't see your bad habits. You can see other people's choices. You can say, woo, same house, different furniture. How many times have you seen that? That is, we get into this cycle, is actually a clinical term. We get into this cycle of going down the same path over and over again. It is the way people develop habits, the way we live. So probably whether it's the way you drive to work or how you fix your coffee or any of those things, they're probably habitual things. You're used to doing a routine. In order to come out of that routine, you have to identify, at least be able to see the steps, see the triggers, and then you'll be able to stop at some point and say, this is where I choose to make a change. And if you don't change your relationship with money, even if your credit score goes up, you're going to hit this same spot again later on, and you're going to make similar decisions, and you're going to cycle back down. How many of you have done it? You've gotten a good credit score, and maybe 2 months later, you're back down and you've lost some points because you're doing the same things. Your relationship with money has not changed. We're going to talk about healing this relationship so that money can take its rightful place in your life. You're supposed to have a good relationship with money, but money's also supposed to have a good relationship with you. So you have to make room for this. You have to change a lot of the different things that are in your life that is making money uncomfortable so that it's not staying with you long enough for it to be productive.
So that's what it is.
Yeah, money's just not staying. Like, no, I can leave. I can go do my own thing. Now, it is our choice. I want you to understand, your relationship with money is a choice. It is your choice. And you, no matter how things are right now today, literally you can be homeless on the street with no money and no job. If you change your relationship with money, your situation will improve. No matter where you are or what's going on in your life, if you change your relationship with money,
we got a couple of comments we got to get to.
This can work.
Okay. I love that. I love that. Okay. So the first question says, I remember when I used to have money. I used to cut hair like crazy before COVID. Now my pockets are shorter than a midget with no legs. Look, y'all, I can't. I learned it's a Southern thing. You got to find you something good to say with that. And so I'm going to come with a good comeback for that part. I don't have much. But the question is, how much of your income should you save? Now, what I will tell you from a financial standpoint is, ideally, you want to live off of the least amount possible. Starting with 10% to God, 10% to savings is normally the basic rule. But the truth is, if you can live off of 30 to 50% of your income, you can save for rainy days and things like this. So what normally happens is, this is how our income and our debt works. We get a raise at the job, we go out and buy a new car. We get another raise at the job, we go buy a house. And so what happens is they meet eye to eye, and then we don't get a raise, and this keeps growing. Our debt keeps growing. Now you see my debt is off the screen. And then that's when there's problems, or something happens like COVID and our income drops to here, but our bills are still here. So what we want to do is live more like this, to where I got a raise, that's more money for savings. I got a bonus, that's more money for savings. Or I'm paying off debt to make this go down so that we have more money for that. Now, how does it look for you is literally 100% based on where you are. If you're already here, you can't start saving. The very first thing that you need to do is figure out how to get this one down. So once we start working on getting the debt down, then we have an opportunity to save money. But a lot of this starts with a budget. Where are you telling your money to go? Because a lot of times we give our money no direction, and so it just goes wherever it wants. It's kind of like bad kids. Y'all seen Bebe's Kids?
Bad relationship.
Don't let me date myself. Y'all seen Bebe's Kids? Just say yes, and y'all agree. Bebe's Kids did whatever they wanted to do because they didn't have any guidance and direction. And once dude had enough, they actually kind of got their life together. But, you know,
and part of that, Millie, comes from, if you don't have money in your life on a consistent basis, or if you've established a bad relationship with money from the very beginning, you don't even think you have an authority to tell money what to do. Money might leave you if you try to control it. Money might get up and say, I don't want to stay here because you're trying to make me do stuff. And so you think money's going to just go away if you try to control it. Like what we think about men and our relationships. So we say, if I just let him come and go as he pleases, then he'll stick around and I'll be okay. Better safe than sorry. But that's not a good, healthy relationship with money. Money is in your life for you to control. You are the one that can predict. I can tell you right now, I can look at your budget, I can look at your lifestyle, and I can predict where you're going to be. Because you are the one that is designing your own path. If you have had a bad relationship with money and you've been designing your own path and it was terrible, it's never too late to correct it. You can fix this. We can start right now and we can move into a totally different place. And this time next year, you could be living a dream. It takes you making a decision, a commitment. Look back. Let's talk about what is my relationship with money? How emotionally stable am I when it comes to money? How well do I feel protected, supported? What is money in my life for? What is it supposed to be doing for me? Is it security? And do I feel secure? All of these are questions we've got to ask and answer about money before we can begin to heal our relationship.
Okay, two more. Gwen said, look, Dr. Mama Scott, I'm going to need you to I'm going to need you to talk about somebody else now. So, Gwen, we getting off you. Listen, when she said that stuff about taking the money at church, I was like, listen, I'm going to need, listen, I thought I had gotten over this.
Some prayer.
I've repented for this. Now, I've been an adult for a minute now. Listen, I would have clutched my pearls had I had some. Okay, so this one says, I need to lay on the doctor's couch for session 2. I love it. Let me go back. What is the best way to create a new family budget to get on track? Well, it starts with listing your debts and then listing your income. Because again, you can't budget what you don't have. So let's start knowing, first of all, what are our active accounts, our active debts, I like to call them. Those are rent, utilities, open credit cards, cable, internet, whatever bills you pay, insurance, car insurance, house insurance, car notes, renter's insurance or homeowner's insurance. Guys have insurance, life insurance, health insurance, whatever bills, taxes, medication, those bills. So you want to start with what do you actively pay? And then you want to go back to what also do I owe? Because there's some bills that we owe from a lot of us that aren't active or current, that doctor's bill you haven't paid yet, that kind of stuff, that, that on again, off again relationship with that old credit card, that kind of stuff. But you want to start with where you are now. So first, let's see, hey, where am I? What can once I know what I can afford, then the next thing that you have to do is put you on the budget. Guys, ladies, yes, gentlemen, if yes, you don't put you on the budget, first, you are destined to mess up some money. Because what happens is I've been working for X amount of things and I deserve. That is like the epitome of I'm about to make a bad decision.
That's right.
It's kind of like when you've been dieting and you finally lost 3 pounds and you think you got it. So I'm gonna treat myself to some ice cream.
Yes. And
now for my cheat day. It's a cheat meal, not a cheat day. My trainer has told me that several times. Me and him have a, misunderstanding about this. He's still wrong, but he says it's a cheat meal. I think it should be a cheat week. Day. Either way, what winds up happening is when I don't go his way, the scale reflects it.
That's right.
The same thing happens in your finances. When you all of a sudden deserve because you have neglected yourself for so long, you wind up buying an Xbox, a couple of video games, some outfits, and, you know, blowing a whole extra check or extra money. And I'm going to just be real with y'all. In the past, the old Millie has burned through some rent money. Because, you know what? I was tired of paying bills. Now, thankfully, I didn't get evicted and I was able to recover from that. But it was a bad decision. I mean, blowing rent money? I have spent rent money on Christmas. Guys, by the way, Christmas will be here in about 5 months. 5 months. What is it? 5 months, 17 days? Let's prepare. Christmas is coming. That kind of stuff. Because I didn't prepare, right. I then took money from one thing because the kids had to have Christmas. Now, I can't find a single one of those doggone toys that cost me an extra $350 because I had to pay the late fee for rent, the bounce check fee because I did write a bad check, and the court costs. So, don't do that.
Right.
Don't be that person. Have that. So, it starts with a budget. Once you know what you have, then you can see what old debt I can tackle because I'm good. My current bills are current, which means I'm not creating any future problems. Now I can have time to go back and deal with my past errors. But we can't get to dealing with the past if we can't take care of the present, because all that is I'm going to mess up something in the future. And sometimes it may be simple. Sometimes it may be, you know what? I know y'all want $10,000. I can give you $5. Every month, $5. And then if I commit to that, I'm only giving you $5. I'm not giving you $6. I'm not giving you $7. You're not going to browbeat me into $13. This is what I can do. And when you can do it, you do what you can do. And what you can't do, you just don't do because you can't. Because there are people too.
So once you actually understand that money is your best friend, that money will be faithful to you if you're faithful to it, that money will work for you. If you tell money what to do, money will go and do exactly what you tell it to do. Money is a faithful friend. Money can be consistent, and even if you lose it, let's say you lost a job for a while, if you've had a good relationship with money, it's going to come back. You've saved, you've got a little bit that you can live off of, and so money is going to come back if you have established a good relationship with money. Understand that. It's like a healthy marriage. It doesn't break up. It doesn't get divorced. It doesn't have arguments every day. There's not a lot of stress if you have a healthy relationship. And that's where we want to go. We want to get to the point where you can depend on your money to do the things that you need done in your life. The priorities that you set can be taken care of. Everybody's not going to have the same priorities, and that's okay. So it's hard to look around and say, well, I should be buying a house. I should be buying a car. Not always. You decide what your priorities are and what you want your money to do. Just like you dictate your own relationship with your man or your woman, you're going to dictate your own relationship with money. It just needs to work for you. It needs to make sure that whatever you think money should be for you, that's what money is going to be to you. We're going to get you into that position. So there are people who say money is my security. Then we're going to get them into a position where money is going to make them feel secure because they're going to have it and they're going to know how to use it. For some people, money is to show the world that I'm rich. We can get you into that position where you can say, I have status, if that's what you want money for. But you have to teach money what it's there for. You're going to have to train that money. And in order to do that, you're going to have to be trained.
Okay.
And the truth of it is, this is so mental. It is so about what you think. People act on what they believe. If you think this way, you're going to act a certain way. If you think your man is cheating on you, you're going to do certain things. Even if you say, I ignore it, you're going to have some kind of a reaction. If you think your money is not working, you're going to have a reaction. We want to teach you how